Hello, welcome to Star Code Cipher. We read the cards here, and for this reading we're going to be using the Modern Goddess Tarot along with the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. I like to use oracles to sort of give me a situation to hone in on, or to you know, just pare down the message. Power struggle. Alrighty. You may be involved in a power struggle between two or more people. Oof. Alrighty, let's see what the cards have to say about this situation. And as always, this is a general message for whom it may concern, or to whom it may concern. Take from it what you need and leave the rest for someone else. All right, let's start shuffling. This actually intrigued. Oh, power struggle. Who is having the power struggle? Hopefully we'll get what the power struggle is about. Let me move these a little bit so I can have a little bit more space. These are kind of oversized cards, both the Oracle deck and the Tarot deck, which makes it difficult for me to shuffle. And I don't like to bend my cards so they'll last a little longer. Anyway, here we go. Power struggle. Ooh, the first thing that we have is the Hermit. Maybe I'll put this over here. Okay, the Hermit. Take the 9th card, and crossing that is Pentacles. This could be work related. Let's see. Which is, you know, in my personal life, as most of the power struggles have taken place at work. All right. Eight of Cups. Two of Wands. Ooh. The Hanged Man. 10 and 12. The Knight of Cups is above all of this. Okay. That is the second. The Knight of Swords. Ace of Cups. The Queen of Swords. 1, 2. She is the Third of Courts. And we're ending with the Five of Wands. Ooh, this is messy. Okay, let me put this stack here. And this over here. And if you will forgive me a minute, I'm going to see if I can reposition the camera so that we can get all of the cards into the view. I'll be right back. Alrighty, this might work a little bit. Alright, so we're going to have to work with that. Okay. So, power struggle. You may be involved in a power struggle between two or more people. And from what we've pulled out here from the deck. Again, I'm going with my first impression. This might be a power struggle more at home than it would be like within a relationship. Basically because of the Eight of Pentacles, more than it would be with family and friends and things like that. It looks like this is a power struggle at work. Now, that's not to say that you don't have family and friends at work. You very well could be, but it's the power struggle centers around, in my opinion, about work. And it could very well be based on Hermits and the Pentacles, is that your methods of doing things may be not quite conducive to teamwork. Some people just work better by themselves or can accomplish tasks faster and more accurate when they're working by themselves than when they're working in a team. And you know, that can be problematic, not because there's anything wrong with working better by oneself, but because the culture at the job where you're at doesn't really lend itself for that. They may have a culture where they stress teamwork a lot. Here in the USA, because of the way the culture is, the hyper-capitalist culture, work sometimes replaces what you're not getting at home, those family dynamics, or at least they try to create that, you know, that sort of sense of we're a family, we're doing blah blah blah, all that stuff that you get at work, which of course is fiction. It's absolute fiction, and a lot of us know that. And sometimes it may be that you have gotten to the point here with this Eight of Cups that you're sick of that fiction. You want to just get away from that. You just want to do your job without all of this pretense that tends to come when you're working for a company that stresses teamwork and you know, work family and all of that. They want to talk a lot about work balance, but it doesn't really get there. There's a lot of, because it's pretense. We're working to work. And the power struggle always comes with people being upset because you're not following along with the culture. Some companies act more like a cult. You know what I mean? If you've ever experienced that. And that's where the power struggles, I think, comes in. And for those of you who are kind of getting at their limit with these types of people, with these always smiling, this is the Knight of Cups, which tends to represent somebody who is not what they appear, the things that they're offering. It's always coming fast, it's always deep and emotional, but, well, not deep. Always like really emotional, but shallow, because they're not real. The Knight of Cups is often referred to as the false knight. He is very tied to the Seven of Cups as far as illusions and delusions. It's all about the feel of it and nothing practical. And so that's at the head of the reading here. And at the root of it is the Eight of Cups, where you just want to walk away from all of that pretense and nonsense. You're kind of getting to the point where you may be seeking, even now in these turbulent times, another place of employment. Like, it's going through your head. That's what it's known. That's what you're griping and grumbling about. What it's unknown is if you'll be able to land on your feet if you do take a move to leave. It's very difficult right in here. What is known, what is unknown, and the way forward. is that you may end up in a place where it's even worse than the place you're in now. So it's something to think about. The cards are also calling you to see where you can adjust in your own methods of doing things. Even if you're not doing it completely, try to pretend. Don't be so closed off. Smile when you need to smile. You know, like, play the game, at least for now. The Knight of Swords is pointing up to the Knight of Cups, and that is, you know, the sword here, if you can see it here. These two are going to be in a battle because they are two very different kind of individuals. There may be personalities in this struggle where, again, one is a pretend type of person. They're coming with that false, you know, sense of family. And the other one is more mental and cuts through the BS. The problem that I'm seeing with this here is that your need to cut through the BS may actually put you into a lot of strife with these people, with management. Here is the Queen of Swords. And I'm not sure that there's middle management and then there's the bosses up there. This sort of approach where your power struggle with the people around you may not, you're not going to win. Let me just be quite honest with this. You can't play the game hacking and cutting people down. You may have to kind of win the person that is above the people you are having this power struggle with. If you're not going to go ahead and take a chance and walk away from this entire situation, you may have to opt for winning over those that are above the people that you are having the power struggle with, because it'll give you some currency. Once you put yourself in a position where they can see what you're capable of doing, they may step in and rein in this situation over here. If you have skills, if you have proven your worth, if your way of doing things have yielded the results that the main bosses want, they will charge on your behalf against those who are just flat out annoying you at work, right? These plastic people that look for ways to take credit for your work. And that's getting tiresome. It is getting tiresome. But middle people or middle management, what I, in my job, in my experience, in my work life, I call these spreadsheet people, are there to do their job, but they do get in the way between you and the big bosses in their ability to see what you have accomplished. These spreadsheet people do take a lot of credit for the work that you do. And that does get annoying. That does, you know, it is the impetus for you to go and seek employment elsewhere. I'm not discouraging that if you have a plan. You seem to be the type of person that can create backup plans to be able to land where you need to land in order to land on your feet, right? You know how to take chances. You know the real time to do it in order to avoid this. But be very careful moving, okay? Because you may end up at a place of employment that has even more drama than the one that you're in now. And that's basically what the Ace of Cups is like. You may just be tired. You may need to step back a little bit, maybe take a little mini vacation and refresh yourselves. Fill your cup again now that it's, you know, at the moment everything is overflowing. Everything seems overwhelming. You just want to quit and get out. but it may not be the most optimal thing to do, because again, you might end up in a place where it's even more difficult than the place you're in now. The grass always seems greener somewhere else. We all know this saying. You know, we are living in the times that we are living in where, you know, it's difficult to find a job. People are getting fired left and right. And, you know, it's hard to pick up. And so some of these power struggles may seem so overwhelming, but in the face of everything else that could possibly go wrong with this Five of Wands being, you know, kind of outcome / the way forward, you might want to figure out how you can look at this situation differently. This is what the Hanged Man is calling you to do. See where you can convince the higher ups, this Queen of Swords, to give you more leeway, to sort of give you more reign, more permission to work the way you work best, which is, you know, alone or very much without too many people interfering with your process. So the Eight of Pentacles really talks about this work process, this work ethic that you have that may not vibe with the people who are overseeing you, because again, they're playing a whole different game. You just want to go to work, do what you are there to do, and get out. You don't really want to play the office game. And you know, some people take that personally, especially when they're in that kind of culture with, like, you know, we're a family here and all this. That happens a lot. It is truly annoying. I feel for you. If this is your situation, if this power struggle at work is resonating for you. Beneath the main deck is Death. And again, and I think this is appropriate here as far as this trio of cards here, where you're looking to just get out because you're sick and tired of it already, and it really is driving you to be overwhelmed by this whole thing, to the point where you're hacking through these people. You're making enemies. You don't want to do that. Death is a card of not actual physical death, but transformation. And I think it reinforces this situation over here. What you may have to transform is basically how you're responding to the situation, so that you can get back to doing what you do best and impressing the people that actually do need to be impressed, versus these folks that always operate, you know, they're not very genuine. And in the other pile, the second pile, we have the Nine of Wands. I do think that you need to hold your ground. Absolutely. You don't have to, when you're trying to look at this, to deal with these people differently, you don't have to change who you are. You just have to change the approach, right? Here we go. Stand your ground. Change your approach. Three of Pentacles also comes up along with the Queen of Wands. These might be people that you didn't think of that could very well be on your side. You're very resourceful as far as being able to do your job. Now you need to be resourceful and kind of, I guess, playing the game. But the difference between you and the people you're having the power struggle with is that there may be others in this power struggle that are wanting the same thing as you. Perhaps cooperating with those who are also getting the short end of the stick between this false knight may join the charge in trying to rearrange this situation with the Queen of Swords. There may yet be another one a Queen of Wands there, who is somebody resourceful, a little bit more open, who could help this power struggle, you know, dissolve this power struggle in a way where it's beneficial to you and others that you can cooperate with, so that everybody can get back to enjoying what they do for a living. Okay, that's basically the most important thing that you really want to get back to, is enjoying what you do for a living. This power struggle with these spreadsheet people are not allowing you to enjoy what you do for a living, because they're not recognizing how you work. And there's people like that who just have this need to control so much of an entire situation that just make it unpleasant. This is something that many of us have gone through, and will go through again, depending on, you know, where we end up. As long as we need money to pay bills, to buy food, etc., 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 we're gonna have to work. And knowing how to navigate these power struggles at work with these people that are in the same boat as we are is very important. But there's a way to go about it. You can make friends. You do seem to have some allies there that you need to look at differently. See what it is they need. So you're going to play the game to a certain extent. But the difference between you and the spreadsheet people is that you're coming from a place of, from a mental place, not so much an emotional place, but from a mental place that can help you get back to where you want to be, which is like doing it how you're doing it, and having all of these people off, getting all of these people off your back, basically, so that you can, again, get your job done and enjoy what you're doing for a living, and getting the higher ups to get these spreadsheet people off your back. Definitely, most definitely. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of this reading. It was interesting, especially when it has to do with work. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. I wish you the best of luck with this situation. If this resonates with you, let me know. And good luck, guys. And until the next video, take care. Be safe out there when you're doing your good in the world. Bye.